You want to see the most applied version of the Virgin versus Chad meme? Just look at the Japanese version of an official game website and compare it to the American one. Now, Western game sites tend to be little more than perfunctory splash pages with over-engineered ass UX, serving little purpose beyond reminding you that you can purchase a product at a location with money, perhaps. Even when they do include something a little extra, it never compares to fan sites. I mean, I get it. You'd have to spend $1 billion to replicate what fans are willing to dedicate themselves to for decades on end, for free.
And nobody can compete with free.
By contrast, the Pokemon Company's supplemental online material is probably the most involved and lovingly crafted I've ever seen. It's full of these featurettes that go above and beyond, especially compared to the perfunctory interactive brochures that Western game websites typically consist of. For my money, the biggest treasure trove on there is the Pokemon horror spot. Basically, they made a spoopy Halloween-themed feature on the site that goes into detail on some of the infamously macabre moments from the series. What's so above and beyond about it, though, is how they format the entire section like an occult tabloid magazine, featuring interviews with Hexmaniac Hitomi, one of many site-exclusive characters. It's a fun idea that expands on the world's lore in a fun, non-committal way, and I love how unabashedly esoteric it is. None of it is necessary at all, but it's so enriching. It's also nice seeing characters in this universe who have stuff going on in their lives other than entering the Pokemon League, you know? So the horror spot covers haunted moments from 4 of the mainline Pokemon games. A particular note to me are an article examining the infamous Lumiose City Ghost Girl encounter from Pokemon X&Y, as well as one talking about the Pokemon Tower from all the way back in Gen 1. The articles are JP only, so I'll do my best to interpret them, and we'll just have to wonder why the heck they were never adapted to overseas audiences. Do they think we do not like to read? Okay, so the first one talks about the notably creepypasta-worthy moment from Pokemon X&Y, the inexplicable Lumiose City Ghost Girl. Now, you may have forgotten the specifics of the scenario since the game is celebrating its 10th anniversary this month. Happy Memento Mori, everyone. Lumiose City contains a nondescript office building, inside of which you may take an elevator to the 2nd floor. Once there, an event plays where a girl floats by while the lights flicker. She mutters the now immortal phrase, "No, you're not the one," and disappears, never to appear or be mentioned again. Much has been made of this mysterious event, with rumor mills spinning for years, asserting that such a striking occurrence must be connected to a secret legendary or an unlockable or something. It was truly the Mew truck all over again. So in this opening splash page, there's a brief explanation of the event, detailing that it takes place on the 2nd floor of a small building near the Lumiose Galette stand, further commenting that there is a rumor that one may encounter that in this building, and explaining that this encounter can only happen once. The next insert mentions the scary house found near Lavender City, and that there's a suspicious old man there. The fact that the story he tells you contains the same exact line of dialogue as the Ghost Girl speaks seems to indicate that the old man knows something. Finally, in the Ask a Hexmaniac interview section, Hitomi is asked point blank what's the deal with the Ghost Girl. Hitomi says that the 2nd floor office in question is a popular topic among Hexmaniacs. Hitomi herself went there following a rumor, but was unable to get any information out of the people working in the office. Apparently, the floor the Ghost appears in isn't currently in use. So, she says, there still seem to be many secrets. The last question asks about the old man in the scary house and what his connection is to the ghost. Hitomi says only that the old man is well known among Hexmaniacs, and that people come from Lumiose City and other places to hear the old man's stories, possibly because they've all had their own run-ins with the ghost. So, that's it for the official word on the Lumiose City Ghost Girl. Doesn't seem like there's any kind of big secret behind it. It's just a spooky Easter egg they put in there. Hope that's not too disappointing. You see, their official outlets indulged in this stuff while we were left to construct our own graven idols in a futile search for answers. There's even all this nice character key art that we never see anywhere in the game that I presume they made specifically for this feature. I'm really baffled why this stuff was never translated for any other market. Instead, all we got was the Chingling ring-along. Now, I don't want to go into all these pages, but let's take a quick trundle over to the interview about Lavender Town from the original Red and Green, in hopes that doing so will coax my aging boomer heart back into some semblance of spiritual health. In this feature, Hitomi explains that Lavender Town is a place where the souls of Pokemon are laid to rest. In the insert, they mention an NPC's line about a ghostly white hand appearing to them, and Hitomi expresses jealousy at wanting to witness such a thing for herself. There's also a pun about the tower being full of ghosts and ghosts. The rest mostly explains about the features of the tower, namely how possessed mediums can be brought back to normal by beating them in a Pokemon battle, and how the unidentified ghosts will stymie your progress until you come equipped with a Sylph Scope. In the interview, Hitomi is asked what business the rival character might have had being there. She says that he must have come on account of a beloved Pokemon, further speculating that since he seemed to take no notice of the ruckus between Team Rocket and Mr. Fuji upstairs, he must have been very preoccupied by sentimental feelings. This is probably the only time any official source has hinted at confirmation of the fan theory that one of the rivals' team dies at some point early in the story. Finally, the interviewer asks whether it's possible for mediums to get possessed by ghost Pokemon, as seems to be the case in Lavender Tower. Hitomi brags that she's a professional and is protected from possession by an Omamori amulet she bought on Home Shopping TV, at which point she starts laughing like the possessed mediums. Then she suddenly comes back to her senses and asks where that pale old man went. It's always been oddly fascinating to me how casually the series has dalliances with the macabre, occult, or morbid, and how they manage to fit it so well into a world that is otherwise so bright and colorful. In fact, the abundance of color has gotten them into trouble a few times. Between this and being denied James wearing fake tits to scam a bikini contest, I'm really starting to feel an all-consuming sense of privation. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna go write an essay about how Larry is my spirit animal.